Hello and welcome to the Sinead Says podcast. This is episode 8. We are currently in a different place right now. I am in quarantine in Jakarta. I'm currently moving to Bali after this. So I'm absolutely buzzing to be here. It was always in my plan to live in Bali, and I just feel like I'm sitting in a hotel room and I hadn't had fresh air and I'm still buzzing. So I'm just really, really happy to be here. So today we are going to talk about what I learned in therapy. And the key message I want to get across today to everyone is that therapy is not just when you're feeling down and you need to feel better. Like, you can go there before the wheels fall off, and you can go there to improve yourself. You can go there as a normal, good version of yourself, but you can come out a greater, exceptional version of yourself, and you can take on the world in a totally different light. And that's what I want to get across to people, because people think there's almost so much shame for going to therapy, but I don't go to therapy because I'm ill or anything like that. Like, I go to therapy to improve myself, to understand my behaviours, to reflect and to improve, mostly to improve. Firstly, I'll just tell you the story about how I actually came about going to therapy, because I always toyed with the idea, but thought I could never afford it, which I know now is ridiculous, because it should come first. It should have came first, before the nights out, before anything. And if you can afford a few gins, you can afford a therapy session, and it will give you so much clarity and so much self-worth to put you forward to even be more successful, to earn more money. So before you think it's expensive, it's worth every single penny. So what happened was, I was actually booked. So when I came back to Ireland, I was booked for loads of speeches. I had a tour, and you see me every day. You see me speaking on my story. I've always thought that I am confident in public speaking. I did pantomimes in school. I did everything. So I thought this would be my dream come true. It was my dream come true. But what little did I know was that I had public speaking anxiety and took panic attacks. We will get into it a little bit more. But I was actually on stage, and I was taking a panic attack. You couldn't see the panic attack, but I disappeared on stage. I wasn't the person that you see today, and I just kind of spoke and got my words over and done with. I can't remember being on stage. I, to this day, still don't know what I said. My eyes are blurry. I could hear my heartbeat in my ears, and this was the way that my tour was beginning. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know. I didn't even know if I thought it was normal. I didn't even know. But anyway, somebody came up to me that evening and she was like, you were taking a panic attack. And I was just like, I felt that, I know, and she was like, you just disappeared on stage. And she was like, she knew me as well, because I think I don't know actually if she had followed me, but maybe she had heard of me. But anyway, she just knew that there was something wrong. So I said to her, I was like, I can't remember, and blah, blah, blah. So she's like, let me talk to you, I'm a therapist, and let me train you, whatever. So I was like, grand, no bother. Took me a while now to actually book the appointment, but when I did, I was thinking, therapy, okay, I can go and talk about boys. That's all I wanted to talk about. I want to talk about my heartbreak, how I'm so distraught because I can't go with anyone else, because my ex is my soulmate. This is what was going on in my head. She's going to fix me. This is what I thought about therapy. I didn't really even think about the public speaking. So we will talk about the public speaking, but this is the reason why she came up to me, and we worked on that. But I remember the first session I ever had with her, and I went in and I sat down, and she had followed me as well, so she knew my following and stuff. And she was like, why are you not more successful? As in she didn't say it like that. She was like, why are you not taking this further? Why are you not making any money? And I kind of always knew that I was kind of in the eyes of my followers, I was this skint traveller who had the crack when she was running around. I felt like this was my sort of identity. And to be honest, it never crossed my mind to be successful or to earn money, or a lot of money, or it just never crossed my mind. I just always thought this would be me for life because of what I grew up to believe. And the more I spoke in that session, the more things came out. She was like, well, what makes you believe that? And there was a few things that made me believe that I didn't deserve success, because that's initially what I was thinking in my head, that I didn't deserve it. And that is why I didn't go forward with any business ideas or anything like that. And it sort of comes down to a few things. It comes down to childhood, and it comes down to my old job, We'll start with my old job. So my old job, I looked after like the rich and the famous. I did that for many, many years. I love my job. It was like, I was very good at it. I'm a very good people person. I'm good with building relationships. But like, I looked after the rich and famous, and there was something missing from them for me. There was something like they weren't happy in themselves, or they were just you know what it was like? It was like they're always trying to impress people. They're always trying to impress strangers is what I noticed, people that they don't care about. And I always wondered when I was working with these rich people, I used to wonder, like, why do they want to invite all these random people to their table and to their things? Where's their friends? Like, all I wanted to do was hang out with my friends. So I don't understand why they want to hang out with all these random people. So that was like a belief that was in me, that like, you know, if I'm rich or I'm successful, that I'm going to be like a bit of a knob. No offense, but that's what I felt. That was like ingrained in me. And I also seen a lot of people rich, you know, like designer and stuff, and I wouldn't be much into designer and stuff like that. So I was like, I just don't want to end up like that. But she was like, you don't have to end up like that. You can be successful in your own way. Like, you can do it your way. You don't have to buy all those things or look like that or act like that. You can take your friends. You don't need to invite strangers. And I was like, right. It was such a simple thing. And now I do it differently. Like, when I get money or something good happens, or I get money from a project or something, I spoil my friends, I spoil my family, I do charity. You know what I mean? I use it in my way. I don't have to be like anyone. I can just be like me. And it's amazing. It's amazing to be able to do that. And I'm so grateful for the experience of therapy to get me to that point. It's weird how she got that out of me on my first session. And she wanted to start with me. She didn't want to talk about the men or the boys or all the stuff that had happened to me and the hurt that I was feeling. She wanted to start with like the inner self and my self-worth and why I felt like I didn't deserve success, because I think she knew there was a lot of potential in me, and she knew that she could get it out. She wasn't just a therapist, or she isn't just a therapist, like she's a business coach as well. Like, you know, she gives you the confidence to go forward in business. So I kind of took all those things with me. And then the next thing was what my beliefs were around success growing up as a child. And I had to sort of go back to like my inner child. I had to go back to my inner child a few times, and they were like, so what makes you think that you can't have it all? And it took me a long time, meditations, inner child meditations, to realise that when we're younger, we have these beliefs engraved in us, especially from school and teachers. There was a few teachers I remember so clearly now, because I seen them in my hypnotherapy sessions, and them telling me I can't do this and I can't do that, and I wasn't good. And you know what? It wasn't their fault. They just didn't know that moment. It was ingraining me to believe that I couldn't succeed. So I had to go back, and then you have to question that moment and say, is that person right? Of course they're not right. They don't know they don't know what's inside me. They don't know the power and potential that I have. Just because I acted up a few years in school doesn't mean that when I find the thing that I'm passionate about, that I can't absolutely destroy the market in it and be successful in that field. I just didn't know what I wanted. So that's what I mean. Like, you have to go back and look at the people that doubted you or made you feel like that, and you have to say, oh, well, they could actually be wrong. Like, they're not right. And if they're right, or if they think they're right, then that's their problem. That's not mine. Like, they don't know what's inside me. So I had to go back to all that. And then you sort of have to come to, like, the way we grew up as children, like, you know, my mom and dad never gave me a penny. And I'm not even joking, guys, when I say this, right? I know this now, because Jack's mom and dad are so good to Jack. Like, Jack and his brothers and sisters, like, they just get they get everything, you know. And I'm just like, well, they don't get everything, do you know what I mean? But their moms and dads pay for like their food and their like cars and their uni and stuff like that. And like, I never had that. Like, I had maybe a little help from my dad at the start. He helped me buy my first car. But after that, like, you know, everything was paid by me, and I just knew no different. So I never really came from money or anything like that. I believed that, like, I would just get like a normal job, get married, and, you know, I had that belief ingrained in me. And like, let me tell you now, guys, I think it's not true. There's success stories out there everywhere, and that's what I need to go look for. I need to go look for role models. And that's why social media can be so good, because you can look at someone and go, okay, they did it, so what's stopping me? That person didn't come from a rich background. Like, that's what I used to think. I used to think to be successful and rich, you need to have like a rich family. Not true. And that was what I needed to like push away from me. And I did. I pushed that all away from me, probably in that one session, that first session. And then, you know, there's also another belief that we need to have degrees. We need to have the best degree to get the best job, to get the best money. And that's not true at all. Like, if you then go and search the success stories of people that don't have the fancy degrees, and like most of them actually don't have degrees. Like, go and look at the success stories, it's crazy. So I had to go and look at that, and then so I would think, oh well, I don't have a degree, right? And she would say, well, does such and such have a degree? And I'm like, oh my god, you're right. So that belief actually is not true. Then I had to destroy all those beliefs, which obviously helped as well. Yeah, so that was just kind of the first step into going forward. And I think after that session, I think there was a few sessions in there, I went and built Brave Retreats. And it's so crazy because I was so worried that nobody would book Brave Retreats. Brave Retreats is my retreats that I'd be doing in Thailand. Basically bringing girls over who want to travel but don't have any friends to travel with. It's a self-development retreat, and I remember thinking, oh my god, what if nobody buys it? What if they don't? Who cares? If 3 people came, I can work that. I can figure that out. That's grand. Like, so I had to go through all those beliefs, and I'll never forget the day that I put up Brave Retreats, and it sold out in 6 seconds. And in that moment, that was my first ever business. So anyone who's listened to us who joined that Brave Retreat, thank you. And then that day I had 4,000 people on a waiting list, and that was 2 years ago, to go to these retreats. So I'm just like, what was all my craziness for? Like, I had a passion about something. I wanted people to solo travel. I wanted people to self-develop and connect on that travel. So that was what I was passionate about. So I could turn my passion into, money and success, because if you get paid for the thing that you love, it's easier to do. So it was like I was afraid to have money. I was afraid to ask money of people, and she assured me as well that she was like, Sinead, you give so much. You're such a giver. All you do is give, and you never ask for money for anything. And I'm just like, I know, but it's like, I love it. And she's like, well, you feel like you don't deserve it. Is this what it is? And it's true. I felt like I didn't deserve to be paid for my work because, in a sense, I didn't have a degree in like business or whatever, or I didn't have a degree in psychology, or didn't have a psychotherapist. So I was like, oh, I can't. It's fucking bullshit. Like, it's actually bullshit that you need a degree to help people and to do your business. Like, that's what therapy's for. It's to help you uncover these beliefs, get rid of them, so you can be a better person and like reach your true potential. It's not for when you're sad and you need to like feel happy again. Like, you can just reach a higher potential. But that's just one thing. I think that might have been just one freaking session. So the next thing I'll talk about is the public speaking anxiety. So I'm going to go through this, right? So I was taking these panic attacks on stage. Now, you can imagine my fear when I have booked a tour in Ireland to do motivational speaking. And I'm like, how am I going to do this? And she was like, don't worry, we'll sort it. So we had to try and go back to childhood and find out where these panic attacks are stemming from. Why is my body reacting like this when I stand on stage? And I mean, guys, she was like convinced at the start. She's like, it has to come from childhood, blah, blah, blah. So we were trying to get back to that childhood, like something happened. And I was like, no, I did all the plays. I did everything. I did pantomimes, I danced on stage, I did drama. I was like, where has this came from? So I ended up doing like hypnotherapy in a sense, and it basically is like where you're so relaxed and then you get back to, oh my god, I'll talk about the hypnotherapy too, but anyway, we'll talk about this for now. So it was like, when was this first panic attack? And I closed my eyes and where was I? I was in the Love Island villa when I did Love Island for the whole 15 seconds, my 15 seconds of fucking not fame. And then I was like, oh my god, I did. I don't remember being in the villa. It was the same as being on stage. I don't remember what I said. I just don't remember anything because I was in a panic attack. So we had to go through this feeling. Not only did I take a panic attack, but then you're getting rejected, right? You're getting rejected probably on on my looks or whatever it was at that moment in front of millions of viewers. And what did I do when I got out? I literally said, take me to the bar, I'm getting drunk. And I never thought about it or spoke about it ever again. I buried every single emotion I had and I numbed it out. And the body tells you when it's struggling, because when I went on stage, that pain was coming up for me. Like, it was in my subconscious that it was something that I needed to deal with, and it would not let me go on stage until this was dealt with. So we had to go through why I went through a panic attack, and I really do believe that my values were not aligned with Love Island. I sort of knew that. I didn't really want to go at the time, but I went, and my body and my brain was trying to protect me from something that I'm not aligned with. And I feel like that's why I took that's what I sort of came to the conclusion, me and her both. We were like, my brain was trying to protect me from going in there, because it just, to be honest guys, if I went in there, my mindset at that time would have never been able to deal with that after. And I feel sorry for the people that come out and they don't have the tools or the help they need, because it's tough. Like, obviously I don't even know how tough it is, because I was in there 15 seconds. I got no, like, everyone's like, is this where you got your blue tick? And I'm like, guys, I was in there 15 seconds. I got no followers. I think I might have got like maybe 1,000 followers or something at the time. I had like 3,000 followers. So I didn't, like, my Instagram never came from that. But I had to just really understand what I was feeling. So first of all, I was feeling shame. I just got humiliated in national TV. Shame. I felt low self-worth, low self-esteem. I was just judged there on my looks. I was also told that I was going on from the beginning, and they kind of, like, producers actually fed me full of shite, basically, and I believed them. And what did I do? Tell my friends and all, and then I had to deal with the shame of, like, being on for 15 seconds. So, and then I just wanted to forget all that, and that's what I did. I just never wanted to speak about it ever again. I dug it deep, but I had to get all the pain out, which I did, and I got all the trauma out from that. Imagine that was 15 seconds. It kills me to think about other people in that position, and I was in there 15 seconds. But yeah, I had to, like, go back and realise that my body was protecting me from something that wasn't aligned with me, and that I can tell my brain and my stress or fight or flight to calm the fuck down, because me standing on stage motivational speaking to all these amazing people is what I'm aligned with. And then I just do some breathing techniques, and I give myself some self-worth, because another part of it is not believing that I'm worthy of being up there. And then I had to go through all that, talk about, she's so great for your confidence. Well, she's like, Sinead, you give so much and you really deserve to be up there. And it was imposter syndrome from day one, and that's another thing that therapy helps you with, imposter syndrome, because you need it. Like, you need someone to help you in a way with your imposter syndrome, because it can stop you from fulfilling your destiny and fulfilling your dreams. And I had truly had to believe that I was up there. And you know what, guys, like, I do believe that I should be, even saying it, my heart goes even fast, because I'm still probably dealing with it. But, and then you get to the trauma and you sort of know why you're reacting like that. And when you know when you're reacting like that, you can have it under control, because you're like, no, Sinead, it's okay. I deserve to be here. I can be up here. So yeah, that was the public speaking anxiety, and I haven't really had to do much speaking since that first tour. But I mean, the first few talks, I still can't remember them, but the last two, I just felt amazing. So another thing I learned in therapy was, one time I won Best Influencer in Ireland, and it was like a really big award, and I didn't go to the award ceremony. I was nominated, and there was a high chance that I was going to get it, yeah, and I chose not to go. And she was like, so why didn't you go? And I was like, oh, well, I asked, and my friends didn't really want to go. And she was like, no, that's a lie. Did you ask everyone? You could have went alone. Like, this is a big deal. And I was just like, no. And like, it came down to like me just stepping away from celebrating myself. And then we had to get into like my birthdays and stuff like that. She was just like, you're afraid to celebrate yourself. And so then we had to go down the rabbit holes of the birthdays, and the fact that I don't plan a birthday ever. I just never did. And everyone would be like, it's not even that, like, I would just be like, guys, I just don't want to do anything, it's grand. I would maybe like wear a badge or get drunk, like that would be fine, but I would never plan a birthday party, or I just wouldn't want it to like burden anyone. And that's the way I felt for years. And she was like, no, like, you are afraid to celebrate yourself because you've been let down somewhere or something. Well, you know, they don't really tell you what happens, but like they ask you questions and it comes out of you. And like, there has been so many times where I've been let down and hurt, like childhood, teenage years. So it was just like my brain just decided one day that, you know, I'm just going to stay in here in my little box and not get hurt, and I'm just going to plan nothing. And sure, you know what, you get hurt anyway, because you still doing nothing on your birthday. So I had to reinvent my birthday. She was like, come on, let's celebrate. And I was like, right, okay. So the first thing I celebrated was I wanted to celebrate that award. So I was like, I'll have I was leaving as well. I had a leaving party, and I was like, you know what? And you see, when I was inviting everyone, it was like I was mortified. It was like I was ashamed for celebrating myself. It was crazy. I was like, hey guys, I'm having a like going away party, and like some people made such effort to go, and I was like, so nice. But then some people didn't go, which made me really sad. But then I was just like, it's only, what, like, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't die. It's not the worst thing in the world that somebody can't go. It's not your fault. You know, it's their life. And, you know, I just had to like lower my expectations in a way of other people and just allow them to have their own life. And if they don't go, they don't go. And if they go, they go. After that initial first time I celebrated myself, then I kind of got used to it then. So now every birthday now, I just celebrate it like nothing ordinary. And I got to see when I went to Australia as well, like the girls in Australia like just make you feel like $1 million on your birthday. And that was another thing I talked about in therapy, was the feeling I got whenever like my friend Pippa like made me a birthday party, and she was like, what do you want to do? I was like, no, nothing. And she was like, wise up. And I was like, what? And then she's like planned the whole thing, and I was like, oh my god, like I cried. I still to this day think it was one of the best birthdays, because it was like the first time that this big deal was just like made of me, and I was just like, oh my god, I'll never forget it. And then I realised like I wanted to do it for her, I want to do it for my other friends, because it made me feel so good and celebrated and loved. And I was like, oh my god, I want to do this for everybody. So I just like always make a big deal now on people's birthdays, and I try my best to do all that for them. And you know what, like it's like what you give out, you get back as well. And then every year now my birthdays have just been like amazing, and I've just stepped up that game of like, you know, stop protecting myself from being hurt, because being hurt, yeah, but like you're missing out in the complete joy of celebrating yourself. And don't be afraid to celebrate your birthday, guys, and your friends, and make sure you make a big deal about your friends and your mom. Get the balloons, get the cake, because it feels absolutely amazing. So yeah, that was another discovery. And the last thing I want to talk about is the relationship with myself was the one I needed to work on. I went in there thinking I'm going to work on my relationships, and you know, it was just like all I wanted to do at the start was talk about like my hurt and the love I had for my ex and like how to get over it and stuff like that. But it wasn't about him ever, it was about me. And it wasn't about me and him being soulmates, it was about how I felt about myself. Like my worth was so low that all my value and all my self-worth was just placed on him loving me. So if he didn't love me, like I was just like fucked. So I had to just go into myself and just learn how to love myself. And I really did start to begin to love myself like throughout therapy, and stop concentrating on why they don't love me, and concentrated on I am born enough. The person who loves me for who I am is the soulmate. Instead of trying to be someone else for everyone else, I was like, I'll just work on being me, finding out what's truly in me, and then the person who accepts that, every part of me, is the person for me. It's not me trying to please everyone else. And that's when I began that journey, and I just think that was just a big turnaround for me, until I became an avoidant. Because then there had to be therapy for that. So obviously I went through the traumatic breakup, was like so down in the dumps, and then the next thing, oh my god, someone's looking at me through the window in the other hotel room. Hi, other human being. Sorry, okay, back to being an avoidant. So obviously I had a lot of trauma. I also didn't want to get into a relationship. I wasn't ready. I didn't want to go through that hurt again, so I closed myself up. Anytime I got close to someone, I just wanted to sabotage it. I would say they're not right for me. I would say they, like, maybe, oh, they don't meditate, they're not into reading, oh, I can't be with them, blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, the common things that avoidants do to just stay away from the closeness. But, you know, we all wanted to be loved, and we all want our partner someday, so I had to work on that. And that's where I began to do therapy for being avoidant, because I wanted to be in love, and I wanted to feel that again, and I was ready. So now I just needed to start to let somebody in, and then I had to get therapy for that. Like, I had to, every time I felt like pushing away, you know, I would call my therapist and they'd be like, you know, you have to lean in sometimes, and you know what, if it doesn't work out with that partner, then you can always break up, so why don't you just give it your full go? And then I just had to go through all that with being an avoidant. And you know, there's times where when you get closer to someone as an avoidant, that these emotional wounds come up. It's like my brain's like ding 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 ding, you're getting close, you might like get hurt and really depressed like the last time, ding ding ding, get out. And that's like what was ringing in my head, even though I wasn't recognizing it. I was just pushing him away instead of actually like dealing with it and being like, Sinead, no, you want to feel love, you have to let them in. So yeah, like I had to go through all that, and it's amazing how I don't think if I had the therapy and realised all this, that, you know, I wouldn't be in a loving relationship with Jack. And I'm just so grateful for that. A few of the steps that helped me get through the avoidant commitment issues was just that if it does go tits up and I get hurt, I have all the tools to deal with it. I've been through enough breakups to realise now that I can get through it. It won't be like the time I had no tools and I just blamed myself. Like in that breakup, I was just like, oh my god, I didn't do enough, I didn't give him enough, I wasn't a good girlfriend. Everything was about me when it wasn't about me at all. I'm always enough, and you're always enough if you're listening. So yeah, that's what the feelings I went through after that breakup. And then now I'm like, no, I know that I'm enough, and if it doesn't work out, it's because that person isn't the right person. And it's as simple as that. Like, if it doesn't work out, that person is not the right person for you. And those things like eased all my brain, because my brain was in protector mode, like, stay away. And when I just told myself all those things, like, you know, it's going to be okay. If it doesn't work out, you're going to be fine. And yeah, like, those things just really, really helped me along the way. And geez, without therapy, I don't know. So I'm just going to say that if this hasn't convinced you to do therapy, then I don't know what's going to take to convince you. You know, there's no shame in getting therapy. It's not, you know what, you don't even have to get therapy if you don't want to put the name on that. Even a life coach. Everyone has the stigma on life coaches as well, like, oh, they're not real therapists. But sometimes you just fucking need someone who believes in you and can tell you about your self-worth. Life coaches are so underestimated. I have a life coach as well. I had a life coach before as well, the therapist. So, like, I just think you just need someone to, like, just say, shut the hell up, you're fucking amazing, and to question you on all what's going through your head for you to get to the bottom, because that's what life coaches do. They really question your thoughts and they really get you out of your own head. So if you don't want to get therapy, get a life coach. I think there's different prices for each one. Just someone to help you along the way. Like, you need to get your thoughts out of your head so someone can rationalize them. And don't forget how valuable your friendships are. Friendships can be like a therapy in a way as well, because if you turn around to your friend and says, you know, I don't feel like I should be on stage here, or I don't feel like I should start this business, what's your friend going to do? They're going to say, fucking wise up, I'm obsessed with you, you're amazing. And, you know, they're going to give you that oomph as well. So don't be afraid to say how you feel. If you're feeling imposter syndrome, oh my gosh, shall I talk about imposter syndrome here while I'm here? Okay, this will take 2 seconds. Imposter syndrome, for example, what are you good at? Right? I'm just going to say, like, for me, someone said to me, like, what are you good at? Right? And I'm just like, I'm really good at helping people understand their thoughts, and I'm really good at helping people with relationship with themselves and to give themselves self-love. I like that. And they're like, okay, from 1 to 10, how good are you at helping people that way? I'd say, yeah, like 6 or 7, you know. You can't give yourself an 8 or 9. It's too big-headed, you know. So I said 6 or 7. And they said, right, okay, so think about a person who's at their lowest. They're at a 1 or 2. And then they said, well, you're just selfish if you don't help them because you're a 6 or 7. There's people out there that are 2. It's the same as PTs. It's the same as, you know, PTs have imposter syndrome. And I'm like, well, how good are you at helping people get their ideal bodies or whatever they want, or better relationships with their body? 6 or 7, yeah. I'm like, well, there's people at 1 that don't have an absolute clue how much protein they should intake or how much weights they should be holding. Well, you're selfish. You're selfish for withholding that amount of information. So yeah, that's a good wee tip on imposter syndrome. So yeah, that's what I just wanted to talk about today. I was actually meant to do a guest podcast, but the Wi-Fi is really crap in here. So I was like, right, no bother. I'll just do another one like this, even though I was nervous. But you know what, guys? This one took a lot shorter. Like, I'm hoping now that when I listen to it back, it'll be grand. And yeah, so don't forget to review and subscribe. Give me 5 stars, you know, just be sound. Like, if you don't like the podcast, come and tell me constructive criticism instead of putting the review sound things. Yeah, so that's all I have to say, and thank you for listening.